Back in 2007, Warren Buffett has bet $1 million that he would outperform hedge funds by investing into an S&P 500 index fund and forgetting his money for 10 years. While hedge funds could do all the active trading they wanted, Buffett won easily, which is wild. Why do we even need hedge funds? And still, expensive investment strategies are not going away. Today I will show you how simple strategies can get you ahead with the help of a game theory problem called Farol. Let me introduce you to the game first. We have 50 people in a town. There's also a bar named Farol. The concept is straightforward. Every player can visit the bar once per week, but going to the bar is not free. It will cost you 1 point. But also, once you get to the bar, you can have a good time and will get a reward of 2 points. That's amazing. Well, unless the bar is crowded, meaning that there's more than 30 people visiting. In that case, you get a reward of half point. You could also stay home, in which case you get a reward of 0 and don't pay a price of going to the bar. I will put the total summed up rewards to the right, you can reference them later. To recap, there's 3 outcomes. RH, reward of staying home, that's 0. RO, reward of going to the overcrowded bar, that's negative 0.5. And RU, reward of going to uncrowded bar, that's plus 1. Now let's introduce the first personality to play this game, FOMO. That's someone who has a fear of missing out. His strategy is simple. He will go to the bar if it was not crowded last week, but will stay home if it was crowded. It's a pretty common personality in the real world, since everyone, me and you, we exhibit some FOMO traits at different aspects of our lives. How about we put our FOMO guy to the test and see how the game plays out? Let me orient you here. In this screen we will track the average rewards over the last 3 weeks and throughout the whole timeline. We'll also show attendance each week. To the left we'll have 2 charts to display how many people we have in a group and what reward they are getting each week. Let's start. We begin a bit random at first. After that, FOMOs will have a simple thought. If the bar was quiet yesterday, it's probably a good bet today. But you can see right away how this collective behavior spirals out of control. The bar becomes overcrowded one night, and the next night it's completely empty, because no one is going since everyone expects the crowd. This is of course bad outcome for everyone. And it's bad reward, we are hovering at about 0.2 negative points average. They would be way better off ignoring the bar altogether and just staying home all the time. The lesson here is that when everyone follows the same short-term thinking, it leads to instability. The fear of missing out when shared by all ironically causes everyone to miss out in the end. This is a classic example of how collective overreaction can doom a system to failure. We see this all the time in various markets where investors out of fear of missing out flock to some specific sector, overcrowding it and forming a bubble. In our case, we have pretty extreme example here, where we form a bubble every week. In the real world this happens less often, but the bubbles do appear all the time, and they are largely driven by FOMOs being, well, FOMOs. How about we introduce someone of the opposite spectrum of the FOMO? A hipster. A hipster is a contrarian. He is defined by being anti-mainstream. His strategy is to only go to the bar if it was crowded last week, and stay at home if it was not crowded. Hipster subculture in real world used to thrive on discovering unpopular ideas and having an eclectic taste. It also sort of died off recently, ironically because it itself became too popular. And now we will see similar thing happening in our game. Let's take a look. With a hipster in the play, we introduce a new dynamic. Players can now switch the strategies if they see one being more profitable. We use the last 3 weeks window to decide. At first, while hipsters are low in numbers, they thrive. They never pay a penalty of an overcrowded bar, and they stay at home when FOMOs all flock to it. After 3 weeks, some of the FOMOs will see hipsters doing great and will become hipsters themselves. Thus, hipsters will start growing in size. First, it's not a big effect, but as they keep growing, eventually hipsters will suffer from what they were rebelling against in the first place. They become too popular. At this moment, FOMOs can just go to the bar all the time without any fear of overcrowding, since a large population of hipsters is avoiding it all the time. And then the whole system enters a loop. Since FOMOs are profitable now, some hipsters switch to FOMOs, and the cycle will continue. What we see is introducing a reactionary strategy created a pendulum effect where control constantly shifts. But the system as a whole still has problems. Opposing majority initially might sound like a cool thing to do, but it also created a new form of instability. Granting, the system is much healthier now than with a single FOMO strategy. Average reward used to be negative 0.2, now it's way better. Both FOMOs and hipsters are in the positive. Just having two strategies instead of one, cycle as they may, that's a noticeable improvement. At this moment, it's pretty much impossible to come up with a new strategy to beat the previous two and also be resilient when it becomes too popular. Enter Warren Buffett, introducing something simple, the habitual. Habitual does not care neither about the bar's occupancy last week, neither of the other strategies present in the town. He is not overthinking it at all. He just sticks to going to the bar every other week, and that's it. What we'll do now, we will keep habitual numbers stable at 30 people, and we will still allow hipsters and FOMOs to switch to each other's strategy. Let's run the simulation and observe how it goes. Habituals will be randomizing every day and will go to the bar about 60% of the time. You will see right away the habituals are never at the extremes. There's no week where they collectively perform the best or the worst. Almost every week they seem to get what they want. Over time they show a pretty nice average reward, and actually they are a winning strategy. Over larger amount of simulations, habituals always win in the end. You should also note that previously both FOMOs and hipsters were showing a bit smaller average rewards, which means that habituals stabilized the system as a whole, which is amazing. When encountering multiple strategies, your best bet is to always adopt a semi-random, non-reactionary strategy, where you just do one thing without changing it, without looking what others are doing. And in today's increasingly complex world, we should all be looking for such strategies. Thank you.